Hi everyone, welcome back. We are back in the kitchen. It's only temporary while we do this first part of this recipe, and then I'll be back outside cooking the rest of this meat. But don't worry for all you guys that don't barbecue and are wondering where all the home cooked videos are going. They are still coming, and they have loads in the pipeline, and they're coming very, very soon. I'm just trying to make the most of the fact that we're getting sunny weather here in Manchester, hence all the outside cooks. And one of the main creators, in my opinion, for British barbecue is Wilson's Barbecue. Go and check him out on YouTube. His videos are amazing, and some of the things that guy does is just spectacular. He's an absolute wizard, and I think if anyone knows anything about American style barbecue, he's top of that pile by far, in my opinion, from what I've seen. But he done a video which was released, I think it was last week, and I watched it and I just thought I have to try that. And basically what he done, he was on a trip to America and he went to a barbecue joint and he had their pork chops. And he used pork loin, which is what we've got here. I went to my local butcher. You can get pork loin or pork roast bone-in from any decent butcher. This one is French trimmed. You don't need to have French trimmed. On Dave's video, it's not French trimmed. What we're going to do with this is we're going to brine this for at least 24 hours in a salt water mixture, which I'll grab now. So we want enough water in a container big enough for you to submerge your pork. And we want to use a 6% brine. Now 6% brine basically means whatever volume of water you've got, you can weigh it, or you can do it in milliliters, whichever you prefer. You want 6% of that same weight in salt, which I've already pre-measured here. So we're going to get that in there with the salt. Now Dave also adds a little bit of sweetness and adds a little bit of honey, so we're going to do that. We'll give that a swill round just to try and get some of that salt to dissolve and the honey to mix in with the water. And then what we're going to do is we're going to submerge our pork into the brine. And you want it fully covered, which that is just perfect. So that's our brine done. We're going to pop this in the fridge overnight. 24 hours Dave did his. I'm probably going to do mine. Mine's probably going to be closer to about 30 hours. So we will come back after the brine and we'll get this cooked. So brine's done. All we're going to do now is get ourselves a mix of garlic granules and black pepper. Don't need any salt because we've been brining it in the salt, so it should be salty enough. Give that a good mix together and we're going to sprinkle that all over the meat. Be more aggressive with it than you think you need to be, and make sure you pat it in nice and well because you will lose a lot of it as you move in the meat around. Okay, from here now we're going to get our barbecue ready. We're going to set it to 110. We're going to cook this for about 3.5 hours. We're not going to go off time though, we're going to be going off temperature. So let's see how we go. We'll get it on the barbecue there now. I'm going to be using temperature probes and keeping a close eye on all the temps. I'm actually doubling up, so I'm using the Smokefire's own temperature probes and guides, and also using an external one as well. I'm going to want to be pulling this at around 70°C, let it rest and come up to between 72 and 75°C, and that'll be perfect. So we're about halfway through the cook here. As you can see, we're getting a really nice crust. The smells were immense. The whole process of this cook, the smells in my garden were just crazy. Whilst it's cooking away for the last hour, I'm going to get my sides going. I've decided to go with some burnt onions, which is basically just onions cooked in the skins on the hot coals. You let them blacken for about 35 to 45 minutes, take them off, let them cool, remove all the black outside, and you're left with a really nice, tasty, sweet inner onion. Lovely and soft. Really, really nice these. I highly recommend you give them a go. So the hispy cabbage I'm going to do in a cast iron pan on the barbecue, let that come up to heat. I've melted some harissa paste in with some butter, and I'm going to get my cabbages in there to get some colour on. Once I've got the colour on them, I'll start coating them in the harissa butter. And hispy cabbage is a really simple dish. You just get some char on there and you let it cook for about 10 to 15 minutes in a hot pan, and it will cook with its own moisture and steam its way through. You just want it till it's tender. So here we are cooking into the finished pork. This pork, I have to say, shout out again to Dave from Wilson's Barbecue. The best pork I've ever made or tasted. Look at that smoke ring. It was delicious, tender, juicy, so flavourful. It was amazing. I served this with the hispy cabbage, the burnt onions and some parmesan, crushed new potatoes, and it was phenomenal. Give it a try, folks. You're not going to regret it. And again, go and check out Dave's channel, Wilson's Barbecue. See you next time.